three different levels of errors in Pulse. There's low severity, medium severity, and high severity. Low and medium you generally don't need to worry about. Those are typically things where it's like medium severity error, scheduler object not found. Just means that the backup hadn't been scheduled yet. High severity error could not parse storage.exe. That means that you haven't installed the backup account and it is not recognizing this machine currently. So then that would be an issue where you would need to act on it or go to support. So high severity error is the only thing to actually worry about if you're looking at the Pulse logs. And that's much we really need to go into it. It's rather a simple system. And then we go into, so we backed up an image. We are locally, we create an image, and then we backed it up off-site. And let's say we recovered it off-site, and let's go ahead and recover it from an image. So we go to Explore Backup, hit Next, and this is going to ask you to browse to the backup location. So we browse to our staging machine, or backup drive. So we got backup F. And then here we have a number of backup jobs. So it's backup job 15 incremental 3. Sure, I'll just select that for now. So we say, okay, great. It's giving you information about the backup job. You can go for more information too. So now it says, okay, we recognize this backup job and all these incrementals associated with it. To which point would you like to restore? You just select the most recent, and again, we don't have to restore one by one. Then it's going to say, okay, what drive letter would you like to create? So this is going to recover the image to a virtual drive. So you can check a drop down and go to it, or it'll automatically just check the next sequential letter. You can mount it as a backup read-only if for some reason you're say moving the location of where you're hosting backup data. But if you're going to be recovering as a live environment, then you would just uncheck this. You hit Next. File chain, the full, and then each incremental in sequential order. The drive layer is going to recover it to H, and then it's not going to back up as read-only. And we hit Finish, and that's going to run. And you actually don't even need to be in the software wizard to do that. So here it's recovered. If I go to my backup drive F, and I right-click on one of these images, I can just quick mount to it, and it'll just do it right away. So that's also nice to know. So now that we've recovered the image, and it's an Exchange server, let's go through EGR, or Exchange Granular Recovery. So license details here is a little different. You're not just copying a code. You're actually saving a license file. So you'd save your license file somewhere like My License, okay? And then you launch EGR. Now, when you first open it, it'll ask you to point to your license. But let's say you started it and didn't do that, and you're just using a trial. Then you go to Edit, and then Preferences, and then here at the bottom, License File Name. You browse through your Windows Explorer view, and then you select the most recent My License. Hit Apply, hit OK. Now you're good to go. So by default, each ServerSave license comes with support for recovering up to 25 mailboxes at a granular level. We'll upgrade that to 50 licenses upon your request to submit a ticket to our support staff and let us know what the backup user account is that you're trying to upgrade, and then we'll go ahead and do that, and you just have to re-download the license. If you have a need for more licenses than that, then you need to call in your partner specialist and put that request through them. So here we hit the source. And we say, okay, let's go through my computer. We just recovered to the H drive. So we Exchange, Mailbox, and then EDB. Log file path automatically going to be selected. Temporary path automatically going to be selected. You can change those if you feel like it, but it's really not that necessary. Temporary file path, no more than half a gig at most. At least that's what we've seen so far. So we hit OK, and it's going to populate the information up in this top section. based on the EDB we just told it to populate from. We have a couple options to recover. If you're in somewhat of a electronic discovery mode, some type of legal case, merger, whatever it is, you could export to a PST, or if you're creating a new mailbox, if you're migrating mailboxes for a specific user, then you can do that as well. Or you could just, most commonly, just open up an existing Exchange server, connect all the mailboxes, and go from here. So it's going to authenticate based on the user, the Windows user that I'm currently logged in as. Say close, it's going to pull up our live Exchange box. So I come back up here, and let's say we have a case where user 1 says, oh, I deleted an important email and it had an attachment that I need. It says something about management. And we say, okay, great. So we come in, we can search, we can browse to say what we're going to search through. For this purpose, like we only have to search through him or her. And we can say search in the message subject as well as the attachment file name. And we're going to search for the word management. Fine now, and we get the list of items found down here. We can save this report if we're really having a hard time finding something and need to save it for later. We can double click this and open it up, and then I see here's the management guide, perfect. So then I can just drag and drop this message right into their mailbox. And now it's recovered. Very simple. Or if it's, there was some conversation with a customer, Nortel, and they're pissed, they're trying to charge back or something, and they're saying that we didn't do something that we did, or we own this, and they said that, etc. Whatever it is, you search for, again, through the body of the email, through the subject line, hit find now, and it gives us, additional emails you think. We can change the search to go across the entire database, in which case we get even more hits. So it's really quite powerful and flexible and pretty intuitive. Let's say you're migrating hardware. You're gonna move this whole EDB to Lasso demo. When you do that, you just drag and drop, and it's going to create the mailboxes for you that it currently recognizes that aren't already created. So that's a really nice, step-saving process right there. You can also just drag and drop individual mailboxes into the new server. So real simple to do. Any questions on what we've gone through today? That pretty much covers what we wanted to go through. Any questions on the web section, That's clear. Thanks. Appreciate it. Any white papers that we have currently are available in the, it would overwrite the existing mailbox. Your question, Doug, if you recover a mailbox, it overwrites the existing. Yes. You could recover it and rename it as well if you wanted.
It does have duplicate protection though, so as far as overwrite, it's not necessarily going to overwrite it, because if you try to add a mailbox and there's an email already in there, it'll fail on that email saying it's already in there, duplicate.
And white papers, again, we have a lot available in the Partner Resource Center. So you go to prc.sosonlinebackup.com, and then we have a lot of information there. And of course, we're going to be releasing a whole new round of technical documentation and white papers in the next few weeks. Question from Kevin: how long can we store backups online? Retention time. Great question. That's one of our key features, especially for industries like legal and financial. We never purge data. So we just don't purge your data ever. It's up there. The only time we purge data is when you cancel your account, and then we delete your data. But we do keep the record of the account having existed. Will we have Stream OS from SOS server? Nafar, I'm not quite sure I understand the question. Tim asks, same license used for image creator and EGR. Yes, if you actually go to our dashboard, it's literally not the same license, but it's the same license as far as you're concerned. So if we look at the details, they're different. But if we go to manage licenses, we have our image creator license listed here and our EGR license file here. So they are separate, but they come in pairs. Nafari is asking something about more of like a virtual service. What we do have in the roadmap to come out, hopefully middle to end of this summer, a feature called Cloud Boot, where we actually allow you to boot up an image in our cloud and then run from that, which is, of course, super sexy and awesome. Right now, it's not available as a default feature, but John can run through how we do it now.
So we don't have the standard offering, but we do have the ability to recover your images in our data center. We'd be able to then convert those images to a virtual machine and boot it for you and host it. What we do in that is, for all that to be done, we actually charge you $500 per 7 days that it's active. You're able to log into that using your remote desktop and basically do whatever you like. Some people might even create a virtual private network using maybe like a software VPN from that VM in our data center to your network. But basically, yeah, we can boot it for you, and then you can take over.
Yeah, so that's a as requested service. If you want to get that done, again, you just call up your partner specialist and tell them what you need, and then we'll get right on it. Do we have a turnaround for that?
Well, we like to say it could be up to 12 hours to do that, because depending on how big your images are, we get to recover them first. But remember, they are compressed and encrypted, so we have to recover them, and then we recover them, and as soon as we can, we will convert them, and then with the machine. So for some people, it can be very fast. Others we like to say up to 12 hours, depending on the circumstances.
Definitely, very cool stuff. So I think that pretty much sums it up for us today. Mike asks, when and where can I download this webinar? Well, we are recording it here, so we're going to be uploading it to a download link over the weekend. It'll be available on Monday, and you should probably get an email that you registered to the webinar with that information as well. But we're going to be putting it up in the Partner Resource Center. And also, if you go to managedonlinebackup.com, actually, no, we just took that link down, so never mind, it's not there. So that'd be good. Thank you all for attending today. We thank